Welcome, guys. So this is the Git workshop hosted by MEC. So if you don't know what MEC is, that's Monash Association of Coding. We're a club that basically helps improve technical skills for all of the students in Monash and help just like increase community participation for this includes like side projects as well as like just general stuff about the industry. So as for Git, Git is just like a version control system used widely throughout industry. Like no matter what, you're gonna be having experience with this, and it would be really good if you have a strong foundational knowledge on it. So if you find yourself having to save all of your individual files with like V1, V2, whatever, this is definitely the event that you want to attend and listen to. So the host for today is going to be April Chi. She's our beloved president. So she's worked very hard to prepare the slides for this, and I know it's going to be awesome. Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks, Nick. Okay, guys, I'm going to share my screen. I hope you guys can see it. Just a second. Desktop 2. What's my desktop 2? This one. Yep. Can you guys, what do you guys see? Do you guys see my slides?
Yes,
Yeah, we can see your slides, yeah.
Okay, like the Git slide. Okay, cool. Okay, awesome. Let me do presentation mode. Cool. Do you guys see it in presentation right now?
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you. Okay, awesome. So this is what Nick said. So this is the Git Essentials workshop. The point of this was that, like, I realized that a lot of people in third year, I think when Angus wanted to start an open source initiative for Mac, we realized a lot of people even in third year didn't really know how to use Git, and they were still using like file saving and just ways to be able to track which file using the names. So this is all about that. So if you guys have any assignments or any projects that you want to do in the future, this will come in handy. And also, if there's anything in the industry that you probably need to know when you go into it, like anything else you can probably learn on the spot, like frameworks, libraries, language, but usually the first thing that they would want you to already know that should probably be prior knowledge is the use of Git. So to start this, yep, so just some event reminders. So this is about Git and GitHub. So we had some event reminders saying that you should have Git installed already. If you don't, head on to our Facebook page. I'm going to be talking about Git for like maybe 10 minutes or so. So hopefully you can get that done within that time. Another thing is you should have Visual Studio Code installed. So this is a text editor, and that's what we're going to be used to be doing our code today. Whoops, sorry, I'm just going to admit people. Cool. Yep, and also you should have a GitHub account ready. So everything that we do will be using GitHub. There's also other stuff like GitLab, there's Bitbucket, but today we're going to be using GitHub, and you will learn the difference between Git and GitHub later, but basically they're not the same thing. Don't treat them as the same thing. And if you could go to this link, so cut with a .t.ly/macgitg form. Please go there to enter your details into attendance form. So even though everything's online and there's like a pandemic going on, we still have to unfortunately keep attendance and give it to the clubs and societies of Monash. And in that, it's just going to ask you about your student email. It's going to ask you what course you are, domestic, international, and also whether you guys want to be emailed some resources afterwards. The resources for this, if you guys attended Jasmine's website redesign workshop, it's probably going to be different. Like it won't have that much stuff. This is more like links and telling you guys that this stuff exists and you should look into it. And furthermore, if you already know how to fork a repository, so this workshop is aimed at beginners, but I guess some people probably already know what Git is and they know the basics of it. If you do, head to this link here. Sorry, can someone type the links into the chat, by the way?
Yeah, it's all good.
Okay, thank you. So anyone who is a beginner, or like if you know how to set things up, then just go ahead to this link. Nick is probably going to send it in the Zoom chat and fork it, because that's the one that we're going to be working on. And also ask your questions here. So it's www.menti.com. The code is 130513. So basically, we previously just used Zoom chat to do the questions, but in this case, we thought that it'd be easier if we had a centralized screen for it. I'll show you guys what it looks like later, but just go to any device on your phone or your computer, laptop or whatever, and just go to that site, type in that code, everything you type, Nick will be able to see, and then I'll be able to answer it. Sorry, I'm just gonna let more people in. How do I?
Is there a way to just let people in, like without having to give permission?
I have no, yeah, there is, but I don't know where the option is anymore. Oh, okay, there we go. Yeah, they should just be entering now. Cool. Yeah, so sorry to outline, it's no longer 1.5 hours. It's going to be 1 hour, 45 minutes. And that's because we have a lot to cover and hopefully we're able to cover it within this time. So the things that we're going to cover is, first off, we're going to talk about what Git is exactly. The second part is the Git commands. So I broke it down into 2 parts. The first part is basically the commands you probably need to know to be able to work by yourself. So if you know all of these ones, you'll be able to do your own projects, you'll be able to push your assignments and save your work, and you're basically self-sufficient in doing stuff alone. But if you want to go further and learn more about what you can do with it and actually work in teams and do projects in industry, it's going to be the second part. So it's going to be the part about working with each other and knowing how to solve conflicts and like pulling and pushing, which you'll learn later. Another thing is at the very end, we'll probably have a quiz checkpoint. And then after that, we'll have a part that's important. That's about pull requests. And then afterwards, I'll talk about the fact that you don't have to do it on command line. So this is going to be a command line tutorial. I'm going to assume that you guys do have some basics in that, but I'll explain a bit of what I'm doing too. But you don't have to use the command line. And then afterwards, I'll just talk about questions. So for anyone who just joined, please fill in the attendance form in this link. If you know how to fork something, please fork it on this GitHub repository. And Nick has linked all the stuff inside the messages, the Zoom chat. And also, just like based on feedback from last time, like the break, it's kind of awkward with nothing there. So if you want to participate in this, go to this playlist, this link here, or you can type in like Mac space X space workshop playlist on like Spotify, and you'll be able to add your songs there. So I'm just going to play like a random song and shuffle it there. If your song gets chosen, I'll see your name and then just like message me after and we'll be able to send you something too. So that's going to be a reminder, and these are going to be on every slide. Cool. So quick introduction. So first off, thanks, Nick. Yep, links are in the Zoom chat. Yeah, so first off, I'm a final year computer science student, and I wasn't originally from tech. So I actually came from a Bachelor of Science degree from the University of Melbourne. I majored in neuroscience. I did like 1 coding elective in my first year, and that was the Comp 1001 elective. So anyone who went to University of Melbourne, you realize that that's like the OG elective. That is the one that teaches you Python, and it's the one that teaches you how to think in like a logical manner, because when you're doing science, you're basically just rote learning, and it's just a completely different way of doing stuff. And that was when I was first introduced to coding. I didn't actually pursue it. And during those 3 years, I actually did do it as a hobby. So all of the stuff that I did afterwards was self-learned, including Git. And Git was one of those things where I did self-learn, but it was done so badly. Like I don't think I ever really understood it properly until someone actually went through it and taught me. So the point of this workshop is that you can self-learn Git. You can understand like this is what it's for, this is what you do with it. But I think that if you have someone teaching you, then that's going to help a lot. And also if you have any questions, just ask away in the mentimeter.com. Sorry, www.menti.com, code 130513. Cool. So just a word of comfort, this is Git, and I'm just gonna like make it very clear that this is not going to be interesting. Git is not an interesting thing. Git, you don't even build anything. You're basically just using this as a tool to be able to build things. So it's not interesting. I've tried to make it as interactive as possible. I'm going to do it so that we look at a few commands, we talk about it, and then afterwards we actually do it interactively and do it in the command line. But basically, if you're discouraged after this and you feel like this is a bit hard or like you don't get some of the stuff, I just want you to know that like it's fine. Like I made GitHub. I just took this out somewhere. Like I made GitHub in 2015. I learned Git in 2017 when I was doing like a birthday project for someone, but I don't think I really understood it until like now after I actually started using it properly. So we're here to help, and it's not an interesting thing, but after you use this, it'll be really useful for your assignments, and also you'll be able to do a lot more things just collaborating with other people. Cool. And so finally, who's here? So our whole events team is here. Anyone with like a yellow background or just like a Mac in front of their name is here. So here we have Catherine, Anna, Nick, Alden, and Lucas. Nick and Lucas are pretty like, I think they're proficient in Git and they've actually done it before in internships. So if you have any questions, ask it in mentimeter.com. Last resort, Zoom chat them. Otherwise, you can also Zoom chat these guys, and we'll just try help you out. And whoever has the answer to the question, we'll try our best with that. Cool. So first off, quickly, what is Git? So Git is basically the version control system. So let's say you have code and you create a file and you make some changes. And Git keeps track of all the different changes that you've made at any point in time. So let's say you create the file, you add a line, and then afterwards you realize you added d=4 and d=4 is probably not, it's not what you want. So let's remove that. Let's remove c=3. And so at any point in time, these are all different versions and Git keeps track of every single one of these. So you know when you added the line, who added the line, you know what exactly you added, and also same for this, you know who removed it, when it was removed. Basically, you have every single version and you can keep track of what's going on and what you did. And the point of this is it helps you debug and it also helps you see what went wrong. Another thing is, if you guys ever wondered like how people actually collaborate with code. So for example, if you're in first year, you haven't, if you didn't go outside your way to do it, you probably haven't learned Git yet. And you don't realize that like there's a way to do it, because when I was in first year, I was just saving files and then like save as, and I kind of wondered how people actually collaborate with code. So the point of this is you can synchronize code between different people. So for example, here you see Bob. He's doing his own line. He writes c=3. Alice is working on the exact same thing at the exact same time. They're on different computers, right? Like they don't know what they don't know what the other person is doing. And Alice puts d=4. They're working on the exact same line too. So the point of this is that they are able to put their code together and you end up with this final version that has both their changes and you can see who did what. So ideally, this would be like their online version, like the centralized repository version. And that would be the one where it's the latest version and then they can just grab the latest code. So while they're working, they'll be able to know what the latest version is, grab it, and then they'll continue working on it so they don't fall behind in like the code changes. Cool. And last one is you can try changes without losing your original code. So similar to the first one where it keeps track of changes in your code, this is where you have version 1 and then you have version 2 and you add like a d=4 and you just wanted to see what it would be like for d=4. So say you're adding like a feature, you want to make sure it works. And in this case, once you're happy with it, you would put it into the final version. So then you have version 3, which actually has this change in it. And once again, at any point in time, you have all the versions in your history. So if this does stuff up, like if you add d=4 and your code just breaks, you can always just go back to version 1. So you can try all these changes and not actually lose anything. Cool. And lastly, before we go into the practical bit, what's the difference between Git and GitHub? So this was brought to my attention by Angus, our technical director, when he told people to install Git and they would have GitHub open. So these two are not the same thing. And I think that's like the first part to understanding what Git is, because Git is it's a version control system and it's installed locally, meaning that it's in your computer and no one else can see it and no one else can use that, right? So everything you do, it's local. It creates a local repository. Changes are tracked locally, meaning the changes that you do, if you do use Git to keep track of it, it's only within your computer. No one else can get that code from you and no one else can see your changes. And also Git can work without GitHub. because Git is basically something that's within your computer. Once again, it's a version control system. And if you don't have GitHub, you can still see everything. You just have to probably use a command line, or you just have to use other tools for it. GitHub, on the other hand, is a web-based hosting service that is the graphical user interface for using Git. So what that means is if you go to GitHub now, so this is, oh wait, I'll move it here. If you see like the repo now, I have this version of code in my computer, right? But you can actually see it on GitHub. And what this means is that anyone else can go online to this online version on GitHub, and then they can grab my code or they can add to my code. So basically this is an open source platform, and it's where everything is in a centralized server and everyone can access it. And basically, like, it's just an online version. And if you're usually working in teams in industry or pretty much anywhere, like within your projects and in assignments, you'll be using GitHub, or there's other popular ones such as GitLab and Bitbucket. So just keep in mind that GitHub's not the only one. I think Monash uses GitLab, and it depends on where you work, but they're the same thing. It's just the interface is a bit different. Once again, anyone who just joined, just fill in the attendance form here with that link. I think Nick linked it inside of the Zoom chat. And also, if you want to add songs to the Spotify playlist, please add them to this link here, or type in Mac X Workshop, and then I'll play it during the break. And once again, have this repository open. Cool. So checkpoint, too long didn't read. What does Git do? It keeps track of changes in your code, synchronizes code between different people, and then you can also test out changes without losing your original code. So if you want to check out what the tutorials that Mac makes, we've been trying to simplify things and actually explain things in a way that like someone who hasn't really done coding would understand. Just go to this link, cut.ly, sorry, my thing's covering it, /Mac tutorials album. Cool. So I'm going to start with looking at our repository. So terminology, sorry, I've been using repository, but I didn't actually explain what it was. So repository is somewhere to store your project or code. So when you go into GitHub and you look at this stuff, that's a repository. So I'll just walk through it quickly. You can see that this is the repository. This is where your code is. You'll see that this is the website link, github.com. This is the, sorry, do you guys see the URL? Okay, cool. This is the organization name, which is our organization name, Monash Coding. And then this is the repository name, and we've named it Mac Learn Git. So that is a repository. And how we're going to start with this is we're going to fork it first. And what I mean by fork is fork basically makes your own copy of a repository, and that's exclusively online. So it gives you the opportunity to experiment with the project without actually changing anything in the original project. So if you haven't already, head to this website. And yeah, so Lucas has put into the Zoom chat. Thanks, Lucas. And go to that link and I'll show you guys how to fork it. Yep, so if I'm just gonna give like a minute or something so people can go there. But basically, forking is making your own online version of it. It's not in your own laptop yet. We'll get to that after. So I'm gonna fork this. Yep, I see 3 people forked it. How many other people? Should be more. So I'm gonna click fork, and where do you want to fork it to? If you have organizations, just ignore them. Go to your own profile. Cool. And notice how I have forked that, because look at this is my own profile. That's my repository that I just made. It says forked from Monash Coding /Mac Learn Git. So it means that I basically made a copy. I made my own copy of this repository, which I took from Monash Coding, and this is my own one. So any change that I make from this will be like, it won't affect that original version. And so now that you have it forked, if anyone doesn't have it forked yet and you're having issues, just type into Mentimeter or Zoom chat, mainly Mentimeter. And after forking it, we're going to learn about git clone. So once again, remember this thing is completely online and you have it in your own repository. Like if you go to your profile, you'll be able to find it, but it's not on your laptop yet. So what exactly do I mean by git clone? Let me go. Cool. So once again, git clone is what you use to make a copy of the repository. So once again, you see that this is like my online version. This is my server. This is pretty much GitHub, right? Your code lives somewhere on the internet. Maybe it's GitHub, maybe it's Bitbucket, or maybe it's like GitLab or something. And you forked it, so you made your own copy of it, but now you have to put it onto your own laptop. So this is your own personal device. You have to find a way to put it there. And that's what git clone does. So git clone, and then you type in the URL, makes a copy of the repository, and it basically puts it into your computer locally. And once again, forking is just creating your own copy of someone else's repository. So anyone who just joined, go to this link, fork the repository by going to the top right and clicking fork. And then cloning is basically putting it into your local version. So if I do git clone here, yep, so notice how your version online is now in your laptop, right? So that's what's happening behind the hood, sorry, under the hood. Cool. And then after learning git clone, the next thing that you'll probably need to do is git add. And what git add is, after you've cloned your repository and you have a copy of it on your computer, you can start making changes to your code, right? So you make some changes to the repository, you change your file, and after that, you want to tell Git that you've changed this file. So next time Git makes like a save to a change to the repository, you want to tell Git that I've changed this file and make sure to track it. And by tracking, that basically means that to tell Git that this is something that you've changed. And so yeah, the command is git add and then the file name. Tells Git to include a file, adds it to the staging area. Staging area, if you guys use like a GUI or something afterwards, you'll be able to see the staging area is where you have all the files that you're going to actually put into the online server the next time you like push something to it. And basically you can like modify which files you want to put there. So when you do git add file name, it adds it to the staging area, meaning that next time you tell Git to put something online, then those are the files and that's the code that's going there. And yep, so just said including next revision. And another thing is there's like a faster way of doing it. So git add dot adds all the files that you've changed. And what that means is like it literally adds everything, right? Sometimes you don't want to do that, which is why I just did file names. Sometimes you have files like .n files which have credentials. So just be really careful with doing git add dot. Cool, so I'm gonna git add myfile.py. Awesome. So here you can see I took my online version, put it into my local version after cloning it. And then now I have, I added like e equals 5. I just made a change and added e equals 5. And then after git add that file, you see this message going like change to be committed and it says modified myfile.py. That's basically you telling Git that this is something I've changed, so please save it next time. All right, and like this was a very last minute like slide, so I'm really sorry that looks weird, but I just wanted to quickly tell you guys what it means. So terminology, so when I say tracked, it means it's connected. So basically, when you have Git in your local computer, like here, and then your online version, when it's tracked, it means everything that you do that you've put into the staging area that's tracked, it will go to the online version. So it's the files that Git knows about. Another thing is, once again, staging area is pretty much your rough draft space. So you git add the version of a file or multiple versions of the file. And then the next time you do a commit, which you'll learn later, that's the stuff that will save. Cool. So let's try this. Let me open my command line for item. Also, guys, sorry, I'm using a Mac, so I don't actually know the commands for Windows. If anyone, like Nick and Lucas, do you guys use a Windows by any chance?
Yeah, but it has Linux, so.
Okay, well, okay, cool. Yeah, git bash, hopefully it's the same, I'm not sure. Okay, but anyway, just chuck the questions in menti.com or in the Zoom chat, and then, oh wait, Lucas uses Windows, okay, yep. So he can help you out.
Windows guy.
Yay, thank you. Okay, So first off, I'm going to use my command line and I'm just going to go to my dev folder. So go to a folder that you want to do this on, right? You're going to be making the folder, which is the Maclearn Git folder. You want to put it in a place where you'll know it'll be. So I'm going to go to my dev folder, which is just where I put my stuff. And what I am going to do is the command is git clone. And remember, you need to grab that link. You need to grab the repository link. So I'm going to show you guys how to grab it. Okay, if at any point in time, like you can't see what I'm doing, just let me know. Cool, so I click this button, clone or download. I grab this, copy it, or you click this, copy it. Make sure it's clone with HTTPS. That's just easier. If you use SSH, you have to set up keys and all this stuff, which Angus made a tutorial on, and it's on our Facebook page. But just like to save time, we're going to use HTTPS. And here, cool. So git clone that link. Make sure you're in the folder that you need, and then cloning, cool. And then it says, okay, cloned into whatever, remote, unpacking objects, done. And now if I do ls, which is list directory, I think, yeah, you'll see that now I have this folder inside of my dev folder. And if you guys don't know command line that well, let me find it here. So go to your folders. Yeah, so there's my folders. If you don't know command line that well, ls and cd. CD is basically just going to my dev folder. See how this is there now. So I just have the stuff already. Okay, and then I am going to go into that. So cd into that. CD means change directory. Thanks, Catherine. It basically just means go into that folder. And then here I'm going to open the stuff. So I have a shortcut for it to open it in Visual Studio Code. If you guys don't have that, basically open your folder, Maclearn Git, and then just like drag it in, and it should be the same thing. So if anyone's having issues, just let us know. Cool. Safe to move on, I think. Cool. So I'm gonna now, so we've git cloned it, and I'll show you what git clone did. So git clone basically grabbed that online version from GitHub and put it onto my laptop. So notice how I have the exact same code that was from GitHub, except now it's in my local computer. And like, that's the README file that was in it, had all the information stuff, blah. This is a nums file that I made, and this is the one that we're gonna work on. So remember, after git clone, we can start making our changes. So let's start by like maybe swapping some numbers. So let's go temp is equal to A is equal to B is equal to temp. Whoops, sorry, before that, I'm just gonna show you guys like that it works. So on Mac, if you're on VS Code, you can go control backtick to open the terminal. I don't know what it is in Windows, I'm sorry. Like, Lucas, do you know, or do you just open it normally?
It should be the same. It should be the same.
Yeah, oh, okay, control backtick. Okay, cool. Thank you. So I'm gonna, so ls to see what files I am, Python 3, I'm gonna run it. I'm just gonna see like what it does, right? Yeah, cool. So our A is equal to 20, our B is equal to 30. Cool. I'm gonna make a change. I'm gonna swap these numbers. So I'm gonna do temp equals A, B equals A. So temp equals A equals B, and then B equals temp. And then let's run. So for people who aren't familiar with command line, if you just press the up button, then it just goes to the previous command. Cool. Notice how the numbers have swapped now, and like that's the change that I wanted to make. I just wanted to swap them. I just wanted to swap some numbers. So I'm gonna now. I want to now push it. Like I want to now save this. So remember when we learned git add? Basically, before we like the first step of putting it online, we have to tell Git that this is something that we want to save. This is something that I want tracked. So I'm gonna git add nums.py. And remember that you can do the dot, it's just that that's gonna add everything, but I didn't actually change the README file, so that's not really needed. So git add nums.py, cool. And then if you do, which you'll learn later, git status, you'll see that like you have on branch master, which is basically, so branches I'll talk about later too, but branches, you can work on different things at the same time. So usually you have like the master branch, which is the main branch that's perfect. It's the branch that's going onto the website. So everything in that is like really, there's no bugs. It's pretty much like the final version. And this says your branch is up to date with Origin Master, which is just the remote version of it. And then changes to be committed. And notice how, I don't know if you guys actually have this, it might just be my theme, but notice how it's green. So it means that this has been modified and we know that it's going to be committed. So changes to be committed is nums.py. So we know that this is something that next time we try to push something onto the online version of GitHub, we know that this has been tracked. So Git knows that this has been changed. Okay, so that is git clone and git add. I'm just gonna move there now. And if anyone has any issues, just ask. Cool. Where is, awesome. Okay, so git commit now. That was quick. Okay, so git commit is, remember we added just before and we were saying, this is the file that has been changed. Please take note of it. So after you've cloned it, after you've added it, now you can commit it. And what commit is basically saving the change. So adding is telling it that there is a change. Git commit is saving the change to the repository. And the command that you'll use is git commit -m message. And it basically adds and records a message that gives a summary. So when you commit, -m basically just means like add a message. You type a message meaning this has to be a meaningful thing saying what you did. So for example, here you would have, I'll show you guys, wait. So git commit -m added line. See how that message is telling you what you did during that commit. And yeah, and then after committing it, you see that this has shown that you've changed e = 5, like you've added the line and you have the message with it. So that means that now Git knows what you've changed, and also the message is really just for your own good, right? So when you go into Git, you can see what happened at that specific commit, and this just really helps with debugging, and also it just helps with like the overall understanding of the repository, because you want to be able to know what was happening in the code at every step. Another thing is a faster way of typing this. If you can't be able to type in git add and then git commit or whatever, you can just combine into one. So you can go git commit -am and then type in like the message, and then it adds and commits in the same step. I don't really use that just because I get paranoid, but like it's completely fine if you guys are confident. And notice how after committing it, you're still not connected to the online version, right? You simply added it and then you committed it, and then that's it. Like now you've saved it, and now you know that this change is going into the online version next. And at any point, if you want to go back to any version, like if you want to go back to the older version, you can also do that, because the point of Git is to be able to track your changes and also be able to revert your changes. And what I used before was Git status. So Git status basically just shows the current status of the repository, and it also shows the branch you're on. So once again, branches are just add the ability to work on different, like think of it as like different branches going at the same time. And then at one point when you're done with like 2 features or something, you would put them together and then you would have your final version. So if I type in Git status, which you guys saw before, whoops. Notice how it will just show you a message. It'll just tell you all the information about it, what branch you're on. Your branch is ahead of Origin Master by 1 commit, and then use git push to publish your local commits. And what that means is when you, after you commit this, it means that you're 1 step ahead of the online version, because the online version doesn't know that you made that change yet, which is why it says that you're ahead of Origin Master by 1 commit. Origin doesn't actually mean anything. Like it's kind of, like these words are kind of just there to help you understand it. But basically Origin is like your remote version, and master branch is just a name for that. This is the branch that is like the main one, that's the final version. And in this case, you're basically just going to the master branch. Cool, so let's try git commit and git status. Okay, so I made these changes. Now I've added it. So I've told them that I'm making this change. And now all I gotta do is git commit. And let's say like I swapped the numbers, or A and B. Yep. Can you guys see this, by the way?
Maybe zoom in a little bit.
Okay. Let me close that one. Yep. Is that all good? Is that clearer? Okay. Okay. Cool. Thank you. So git commit, type in your meaningful message because that's actually going to be really useful later. And also it's just good practice. Git commit -m, swap the numbers. And then now it says, I'm on master branch. You can also see on VS Code what branch you're on by clicking here. And you can just choose it there. So everything you can do from the GUI, it's just the fact that if you do it in the command line, you can just understand what's going on under the hood. And notice how you have this series of like weird numbers and letters. That's just the commit ID. So every commit has a commit ID, and that commit ID is basically the ability for you to go to your code at any point in time. So at this point in time, when I swap the numbers, this is what like my repository is. And that's a thing that I would use to go back to it if I ever need to like change something or go back to an older version. And then it says one file changed. Cool, because I changed like nums pi, that's the only thing I changed. And then 3 insertions and 1 deletion. Cool. And that is git commit. So now I can go git status and notice how now you're saying, it tells me you're on branch master. Yep, we know what that is. Your branch is ahead of origin master by 1 commit. So like before, literally like in the slide, this is what's happening right now. You can see that you're ahead by 1 commit. Once again, what that means is you change this on your local computer, Git knows about it, but GitHub doesn't know about it. So basically you haven't pushed it to the online version yet and you're ahead by 1 commit. And when they say ahead by 1 commit, it means you're ahead by 1 commit from the origin master, which is the remote branch. The remote one meaning the online version, which is on the server, basically GitHub. And it's just telling me use git push to publish local commits. Also, and notice how once I've committed, it just says nothing to commit, working tree clean. If I like added some new stuff and then I realized, and then I did like git commit, it would also like do this. Anything that hasn't been committed yet, it will just show up here.
April.
Yep.
Someone asked, how do I view the terminal on VS Code?
Control backtick on the keys, on the keyboard. Let me see if there's like a way. Yeah. Oh, the worm. So I'm on a Mac. I think Angus and Lucas were saying it's the same thing, or no?
I think you get the worm from shifting.
I get the worm from like, yeah, shifting the backtick.
Yeah, shifting. So it should just be control backtick, I think.
Yeah, mine's control backtick on Mac.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks, Jaden, too. Okay. Can I move on or do we need to like solve that?
Yeah,
okay.
should be good.
Okay, thank you. All right, I just did git commit, git status. Remember git commit, saving it, git status, showing me what's going on. So every time I do like a git commit or a git add, basically I just do git status all the time just to make sure where I'm at. If you install these themes, you'll also be able to see a lot easier like what branch you're on and where you're in and also the time. So I'm gonna go back to my slides. And now this is like the part where you actually push it into GitHub. So you had git add, that's the stuff, that's me telling the computer, hey, this is me, this is the stuff that I've changed. Git commit, saving the stuff that you've changed. Git push is actually pushing them and putting them onto the server. So this is like the final step if you want to think of it that way. So it pushes the commit changes to your remote repository, basically your GitHub version or like your GitLab, Bitbucket, whatever you're using. And also when you type it, you should specify the branch by saying git push origin master. If that wasn't master, if the branch was like new feature, then you would just type git push origin new feature. Origin basically just means like your remote version, the original version. And if you type git push origin master, it just pushes these changes to the master branch. So notice how you have your original file here, and then here you've added your line. sorry, you added your e equals 5. That's your message. You've committed it. Now I'm going to push it. So git push. Cool. So notice how before that, like it wasn't on your online server and now it is. So now the online version also is the latest version, and anyone who's working with you, they can just grab that version and put it onto their own laptops. So now like everything, your online version basically has your changes and it's up to date. Oh, yep, don't forget the message, guys. Yay. Okay, so let's try that. Let's just try a simple git push. Oh, I'm gonna go back to this. Let me know if you guys can't see anything. Anyway, so remember, before you do stuff, just do a git status. It's just safeguarding. I just like making sure what I'm doing. So on branch master, yep, I'm 1 commit ahead. Yeah, that makes sense. That's exactly where we left off last time. And then now I'm gonna go, okay, so mine has autofill already. So I'm gonna go git push origin master. Remember, that's me just pushing it to the online version. Oh wait, before that, I'm gonna show you guys. Oh no, where to go? Okay, so notice how this is the online version that you've forked, the one that you made a copy of. It's in your profile. If you can't find it, like if you don't know where it is, go to your profile, go to repositories. Is it this? Yes, Mac Learn Git. Yeah, go to this and like you basically find it in your profile, and notice how I go here and it doesn't have the thing yet, like it doesn't have the stuff that I've done in my actual local copy yet. So this part is blank. And so I am going to push this. So git push origin master. And then it says counting objects, compression, blah. Okay, here, this is probably the important part. Like it says that's your GitHub repository. Like that's the URL. Remember, that's the GitHub name. That's your profile. Notice how it's not the organization name anymore because you forked it. And that's the repository name. And then remember this series of numbers and letters, that is the commit ID. So basically, if you have any issues and you need to go back to a certain version, that's how you do it. You get the commit ID. And then master branch onto master branch in the remote. So if I go back to this, I'm hoping this is the right version. I'm going to refresh this. Yep, cool. Notice how the stuff that I did in my laptop or my local version is now on my online version. And if you want to see what happened, this is the commit history. So this is why doing assignments and stuff on this is good, because now you can see exactly what you did when, who did it. And then you can also, if you want to go back to this version, just grab the commit ID. And also at any point in time, you can see what the code looked like. So let's say I go to my initial commit. I want to go to what that code looked like at that point in time. Yeah. And then notice how there's nothing there, like, because that was when I was making this file to demonstrate this. I go to my latest commit, I click on that code, and then I go into the file. Notice how like everything's there. The stuff that I just did is still there. So basically, if you have assignments, and I've done this before where I would save it and then I would like save as a new one and then make changes on it. And if it breaks, I just go back to the old one. This is the same thing, but it's not manual and you have it online. And you don't have to like look for that file that says version 2 or whatever and then try it out to make sure it's the right one. Everything's here, and that's why Git is good. And yep, so that is Git push. And I'm going to go back to the slides. If anyone needs like a pause or a quick like break just to catch up, then just let me know, or just let Lucas and Nick know in the chat. Cool. All right.
Hey, Bo.
Yep.
Sorry, someone asked if I merge a branch with origin master, do I do git push origin master, or do I do git push origin branch v1?
Wait, merge as in like push it to the online server, or actually wait, because merging has like different branches.
Yeah, I think this person wanted to merge a branch with the origin master.
If they want to merge it, that's a git merge, which I'm talking about later. If they're referring to like just pushing the code onto the online version, then it's git push origin and then master. In this case, it's master because we're on the master branch. If for some reason you're on another branch, then type in that branch name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Does that help? Sorry, because like
yeah.
Okay, cool. I just don't know if they're merging or pushing.
I think they meant pushing. It is pushing in the question.
Oh, okay, yeah. So git push origin master, and that's your branch name, which you're on master right now. Just stay on master, guys, just so it's easier. We'll talk about branching like literally right now. Thanks, Nick. Let me see where I'm at. Cool. Yep, so branching. So when I was talking about branching, I was talking about like different features and being able to do different things simultaneously. And what branching is, like that's literally it. It's basically being able to have different branches of the same thing. So usually you have your master branch, right? The one that we're on. So I'm telling you guys to stay on that because that means everything you do is like streamlined to that one branch. But let's say you're working in industry and then you have to like make a project, and your master branch is usually the one that's like your final revision. So everything inside of your master branch is perfect. There's no bugs. Usually it's the one that you see on a website. So the code you see on a website that's showing to end users, that's the master branch. And so it doesn't really make sense to be working on this at all, because if you break it, it just literally shows up on your website and everything just gets destroyed. So what you do is you make a new branch, and then the new branch is like exact same code, but you can start doing new features on that branch. So let's say you want to make a new button, and then your new feature branch would be just making that button, and you'll be trialing, erroring, like you'll be trying to make it work. Once it does work, you can basically merge that branch back into master branch. And so that means on your master branch on your website, you see the button show up, but it didn't show like all the breaking and all the debugging that you had to do. It's basically the button works, just put it into the master branch. So in this case, you can also, this is how you collaborate with other people too. So other people will be working on other branches, and then at one point you would merge, and if you have like any conflicts and stuff, you would just solve them. And also adding on to that, if you don't do branching and you all work on the same thing, then like there's really no way to know who did what. And then once you guys actually have the code online, you realize that you have so many conflicts that you're going to have to solve them all, and people are just overriding each other's code. So branching is basically like a different version of the repository. Each branch has its own commit history, and each branch has its own like version part of it, which I'll show to you. So the command git branch, literally just git branch, just shows all the branches that you have in your repository. And you can also create a branch with git branch and then type in the branch name. If you want to switch to a branch, you can go git checkout branch name. And there's also a way to do it. Type it here. I don't know if you guys can see it. So like you can, I think it's like -b and then branch name. Because when you check out to it, it doesn't automatically switch you to that branch. You can do this to automatically switch to it and create the branch at the same time. So it's just a -b. I think you need to double check that. I'm pretty sure that's it, but you can do it all at once. Just like a shortcut. So let's go git. So see how this master branch here, it has all this code, A = 1, B = 2, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to do git branch new feature. And now new feature is like a completely new branch. So notice how they have the exact same code. It's just if anything happens, like if I change anything on new feature, master's not going to get it, right? Master is untouched. The only time master gets the code is when you physically merge the stuff from new feature into master. And I'll show you guys that later. But first we'll just look at branching and all this stuff that helps you collaborate with others. So another way to look at branching. Okay, so that's like one way to look at it. I don't know, I look at it that way because it's just easier for me. But if you look online, you see all these tutorials showing you these, I don't know what it's called. It's literally called branches, but basically you can start from a common base. And then this is your master code. So this is all your perfect code that's working well. And then and then like parallel to that, you have your feature branch. So let's say this part is you making a button. And so your first commit is going to be, I'm going to add the color of the button. Number 2, second commit, I'm going to add the star of the button. Number 3, I'm going to add the text of the button. And then after those 3 commits, you're like, okay, my button's done. I want to add it to the actual website now. And so at that point, that's when you merge it in. And so different branches, different code, but it means that you can work on different things and not affect each other. Cool. So let's try using git branch and all those like branching related terminology stuff. So I'm going to remove this. All right, so let's do git branch right now. And notice how master comes up. So I only have one branch. I only have branch master, and the asterisk is the one that tells me what branch I'm on. If you're on VS Code, which you should be anyway, you can just see it here. I usually just switch there. So you can see like your branches that you have, and you can choose which branch to go on. Stay on master, please. And then I'm gonna like make a new feature. Let's say I actually want to add a new button, right? So I'm gonna go git branch. Hey, autocorrect it. Okay. Git branch, new feature, and remember to add in the asterisk just because it's a name and you have to type it as a string. And so new feature branch, cool. And now if I type git branch, you see how now I have a new branch. New feature is this new branch that I have along with my master branch, which I'm on. Notice that you're on master branch because you have the asterisk there. And so I want to move to my new feature branch. Like I want to start adding stuff to this cool button and this new thing that I need to make. So I'm going to go git checkout, and I'm going to go new feature. So git checkout, and whatever branch you want to move to, just type that in right after it. And it says switched to branch new feature. And then now if I go git branch, notice how my new feature one is green now and my asterisk is on new feature. And also in VS Code, I've changed to new feature. So I am now on the new feature branch and I can start working on it. Yep, so that's branching. If anyone has any questions, just let me know and I will pause. So those are the commands: git branch to see all the branches, git checkout to actually go to the git checkout that to actually go to the branch, and sorry, git branch to make the branch, and then git checkout to actually go to the branch. Okay. So now that you know branching, this is the part where you start being able to collaborate with people. So all the stuff before, commit, git add, git commit, git push. Also, what else was there? Like git status and stuff. Git status is kind of just on the side, so it makes your life easier. But all those 3 commands, those are to help you work alone. Like if you know those, you can pretty much go off and do your assignment now. It's just that you won't be able to work with others because you won't know how to get your code from others and you won't know how to actually solve the conflicts. So after doing all of that, if you push, you're pushing your code, but also remember other people are also pushing their code onto the online server, right? So what you have to do is before you push, you always have to pull. And what that means is you're always going to have to grab the latest version from the online version. So on GitHub, there's the latest version. You're going to have to grab that code and put it into your own local code. So that means anything that you work on afterwards, you're not accidentally like working on the same lines that the online version already did. And it basically just solves a lot of conflicts and a lot of headaches that would come from, that would happen if you didn't pull beforehand. So I'm going to next slide that. Cool. Yep. So git pull gets the changes from the repository, and you can literally just type git pull. I don't really know why. I always type git pull origin master or origin whatever branch name it is, but apparently you can just do it with git pull. So let's say this is your laptop. Remember you added this, you committed this change because you added the line. And then the online version has the same stuff because that's like the latest part right now. Imagine someone changed something and then they put it onto the online server. So someone removed the line and now it's on GitHub. Like imagine if you started coding without it and you didn't know that this change existed. So when you push, there's going to be so many issues and you're just going to start overwriting each other's code. And so when, before you push your code, remember to pull. So now if I do git pull, yeah. So I git pulled it, and then all the stuff online, like the latest version online, I have it now. So this is my latest version, and now I'm aware that like Bob or Lisa or something removed the line, and now I'm safe to continue working on it. Or if I have stuff to push, I can at least push it and it won't change anything else in the server other than the stuff that I changed.
Someone asked, what if you pull then right after someone pushes their code and then you try to push your code?
If you pull, wait, if you pull and then someone pushes it right after you.
So yeah, right after someone pushes their code and then you try to pull your push your code.
Right.
So they're saying what happens if they push before you push?
Okay, things like that happen, which is why when you use like a GUI, which I'll show you guys, like Git Kraken or something. Okay, so that's completely possible. Like it's very unlikely because that would be like literally seconds after. But if it does happen, like it's fine. Either you have to pull again, like usually they tell you, or you'd have to solve the conflict. So sometimes like your code actually doesn't match up at all and you have to solve the conflicts anyway, which I'll show you guys after. But in that situation afterwards, you can see if you use a graphical user interface, which basically does all this for you, like in a very nice way where you don't have to know the commands, you can see what everyone else has done. That's a really bad picture. Let me go images. Cool, here. So you can see that, there we go. Yeah, so you can keep track of like what everyone else is doing. So if someone did push like right after, if you look at this, you'll know, and you'll just know to pull again. And it just shows all the branches, what everyone else has done. It's basically making it easier for you to see what everyone else is doing at the same time. So if that happens, it's not the end of the world. Like there's different scenarios, but if you use this, it's usually very unlikely. Yes. Does anyone have, like, Nick, do you have anything to add to that, or Angus?
Don't work on the same branch.
Yeah, that too.
Always have different branches. If you're pushing to the same branch, you're not using Git, you're probably going to end up doing the same. You're going to end up like having merge conflicts all the time. So just branch off.
Yeah. Yeah, I think usually industries, you have one feature, one branch. So that means everyone is doing different things, and it's very unlikely that they would be on the same branch as you. I've only ever worked on my own branch, to be honest. Thanks, Nick. Nick just linked Source Tree, which is like another version of Git Kraken, but a Atlassian version. Cool. Yes, I'm up to demonstrating Git pull. So let me get this out. All right. Okay. So to demonstrate this, I am going to, this is very bad practice, but it's probably like the only way I figured to show you guys. So remember how I said Git and GitHub are two completely different things? So Git is like the local version, GitHub is the online version, and like you can kind of see that difference now if you realize that you can pretty much do everything you do in Git on GitHub. So this is bad practice. Don't do this in real life. I just need to be able to like, usually someone will push their code online, but I just don't have that person for me. So I have to do it myself online. So I'm going to add in like print, this is my online code. And notice how this is literally what you just did in the command line. So I'm going to commit it. I'm going to say added, let's say added my added a print statement. And then here's like the description if you just need more space or something. Commit directly to master branch, commit those changes. So what I did, guys, was I typed this, type whatever you want, add a message, this is your commit message, and then I'm going to press commit, make sure it's to master branch. Cool. And yeah, so notice how now if I go back, my online version knows I added a print statement. This is what I just added. Cool. So just remember, like that really shows that GitHub is basically a thing to show. It's a graphical user interface for Git, and it just makes your life easier. So my online version has this code, and if I go back to this one, notice how like this is my local version, and I don't have like I don't have, what does it say? Print, this is my online code. I don't have that yet. So I need to pull the latest version from the GitHub online server. So I'm going to type git pull. I think it's just git pull. I usually do origin master, but what do you guys do, Angus and Nick? Do you type the branch name after? Because I just type it out.
Git pull origin master.
Yeah, I do origin master. I don't think you need that though.
Yeah, I do git pull origin master as well.
Oh, okay. Okay, just do git pull origin master to be safe. Just because if you're pulling from another branch, you're gonna have to type in like git pull origin and then the branch name. So if this was new feature branch, you would type git pull origin new feature. So I'm gonna go git pull origin master. Sorry, wait. I'm not even in my master branch. Oh no. Okay, so git branch. Let's go back to my master branch, git checkout master. Remember, that's how you switch branches. Now I'm on my master branch, and then now I can git pull origin master. Cool. So now I'm going to git pull that. Yep, cool. And notice how my online version that I had there, print, this is my online code, is now here. So now I have the latest version. So imagine I didn't just change that randomly myself and someone else, like your team member or your coworker, actually like push something online and then added this piece of code. So this is why you always pull before you push, because if you don't, then you probably push something and you just like, you overwrite their changes or something and you cause all these conflicts too. Next part. Okay, so if anyone needs me to pause, just let one of us know. Okay, so merge conflicts. I think merge conflicts is the scary part of Git. So I usually deal with them in a graphical user interface. I think that's why people use graphical user interfaces too, because it's just so much easier. But if you do it on the command line, you actually understand what's happening underneath. And I think it helps a lot when you start to solve them. So basically, Git can track what changes you've made, right? So everything that you've changed, Git knows that, like you added a new line, you removed a line. But what if you're working on a particular line and you make a change to like line 28? Someone else is working on another branch, they're doing a different feature, but they also changed that line 28. So both of you guys, like what that person asked before, like similar to that, if both of them push to the online server, Git knows that you guys changed line 28. It knows that like the first person changed line 28. It knows that the second person changed line 28, but Git's not going to know which one's the right version. So Git just knows that it happened, but it doesn't know which one is the correct one. So that's a problem that Git can't resolve. And that is a problem for the programmer to be able to figure out. And it's a problem for the programmer to actually go in and like choose which parts of code is the correct and latest version. So that's when you have a merge conflict, when two different commits cannot be automatically merged, and this needs to be resolved. So if I I don't know why this is here, but basically if I just git merge, then you see this message that says conflict, merge conflict in file name, automatic merge failed, fix conflict, and then commit the result. So after you fix it, then you just commit it and push it again. And that makes it so that the latest version is the one that you want. And this was actually taken from an online video with CS50. And what happens is, this is what you'll see when you have a merge conflict inside of your text editor. So the reason why we use VS Code is because it's easier to see. VS Code will automatically give you like buttons and help you. It makes it easier for you to handle it. But under the hood, if you see this, the stuff in the less than sign and the head, the equal sign, the stuff between those two are the changes that you made. So you said that B equals 2. And then underneath, so in between the equal sign and then the greater than sign, that's the stuff that you pulled from the online server. So that's the stuff coming from online. So you also have the commit ID. So remember when I told you guys you have like a commit ID for everything, because you can always go back to it at any point in time. Conflicts, like merge conflicts, also have a commit ID. So this is the actual thing you use to refer to this specific merge conflict. So in order to solve this merge conflict, all you have to do is to get rid of the less than sign's head, get rid of the equal sign, and then get rid of the greater than sign, and then the what's called the commit ID. So, and like this doesn't restrict you or anything. You can literally do anything you want, right? So you can choose to only take your changes and get rid of the bottom part. You can choose to get rid of, like to keep the online changes and then get rid of your part, or you can just choose to like keep them both. Whatever you do, it's basically just you going into it and doing the manual work and choosing which part of the code you think is correct. And so I'm gonna make my own merge conflict, but I realized before we do that, I'm gonna quickly talk about git merge. So git merge is the command you use to be able to put a branch into another branch. So remember I told you guys, you have your master branch, you have your new feature branch. And so let's say your button is like done and you want to merge your feature into the master branch because you want to put it onto the website. So in this case, you would go, so whichever branch you're on, you go git merge branch name means that you're merging the branch name into the branch you're on right now. So this branch name is the one that you're merging, like you're getting to go into where you are at the moment. And so if I do like if I'm on master branch and I go git merge new feature, that means I'm putting the new feature button into master. And how a merge conflict comes up is when you guys do change the same lines of code and Git just doesn't know which one the right one is. So here you see, if you do git merge, you'll have a message that says conflict, merge conflict in numbers, blah, automatic merge failed. Please fix it. And then after you fix it, you can commit the result. Cool. So another perspective is same thing as like the perspective I showed you guys before with like the tree structure. This is the common base. You have your master branch, which is like your perfect, this is the final version. This is the thing that I'm showing on the website. And then I make a new button in my feature branch. I'm adding the color, the styling, and then like the text. And then at the very end, I'm really happy with this button, right? So I'm going to merge it in. And here feature is done and we'll put it back into master, and that's when we use git merge. I'm going to show you guys how it would how it's going to conflict. So, so first off, remember to just do git status to check where you're at. I forgot to do that before and I almost like pulled from a random branch. So I'm going to go to git checkout. Sorry, I skipped the step. Let's do git branch. Let's go to the new feature branch. So let's go to git checkout new feature. Cool. So notice you have this. I know this is my new feature branch because I don't have like that last line. So let's say I want to change B and I want to change B to become like 1. Okay, so I changed line 2. I'm letting it equal 1, and now I'm going to go. So remember the three commands: git add, which is this is what I'm changing; git commit, this is what I'm saving; git push, which is like actually put it onto your online server, the last final command. So I'm gonna go git add nums. Sorry, is this nums? Yep, nums pi. Sorry, and I showed that you can show the file thing by doing Command B on Mac. For Windows, it's probably Control B, like the command equivalent. So git add nums pi. Git commit -m, and let's say I changed it to B equals 1. Cool. So remember, new feature branch. This is my commit ID if I ever want to go back to it. Changed it to B equals 1, which is my message that comes with git commit -m. 1 file change because I only changed nums.py, and then 1 insertion, 1 deletion, because like it doesn't see that as a change. It sees that as like I deleted 1 line and then I added a new line basically. And so let me git push origin. This is where typing the branch name comes in. Whoops, sorry. Git push origin new feature, right? So now I'm going to push that in. Cool. So that's done. And like just ignore, we'll look at pull requests after. Basically, I've pushed it to the Git repo. I have my new branch, my feature, pushed it to the feature 1 in the remote. And now let's go back to our master branch. So go branch, git checkout master. Cool. And let's change the same line. So Let's do like 1000, just like so you can see the difference. And now I'm gonna git add this. So git add numpy. Notice, so make sure you're on branch master, right guys? So just to show you, I am on branch master. I'm gonna go git branch. Cool. I'm on branch master because it shows me the asterisk next to it. Git add numpy. Cool. Git commit. Added my nums. Sorry, no, that's not what I did. What did I do? I changed it to b equals 1000. Cool. I committed it. Notice how I'm on master branch. This is my commit ID. I changed it to b equals 1000. One file changed again. This is the only one that I touched, nums.py. And I changed this line. I deleted it and basically just inserted a new one. And so let's say like now I want to be able to put my, so let's say like new feature is done. Oh, I can probably git push that, I think. Git push origin master. So let's git push that. Let's see if this works. Cool, I pushed it. And now I'm in my master branch. Let's say I want to put my new feature branch into this. So notice how, remember in the new feature branch, if I git checkout new feature, B is 1. If I git checkout master, whoops, yep, so that's 1000. And so now I'm going to go git merge new feature. So this means if I go back to my slides, my new feature is done. I'm going to put it into my master. So it's going to merge it together and the code is going to like interleave with each other. And basically it's going to be the same code. It's just, it's going to have both branches in them. And so git merge new feature. Yep, cool. And so notice how like that picture I showed you guys before, which I said you will see that, like that literally just happened, right? Let me go back. Cool. And notice how if you use VS Code, like it's really pretty. So see, like it has different colors and it color codes it and makes it really nice for you. It even has buttons, so you can see, you can accept the current change, accept the incoming change, accept both changes. Remember, this is all up to you, right? Like you're the person looking at this, knowing which part is right. You can also compare changes. And so, sorry, I forgot to mention the message would be like conflict, merge conflict in nums.py. Automatic merge failed, it couldn't merge it itself. If it didn't have this conflict, the merge would literally just happen and it would be successful immediately. And then it says fix the conflicts and then commit the result. And so now, if you look at this, you have the less than and the head. Anything between the less than and the head and the equal sign, that is b equals, that's the stuff that you did. That's your local version, right? So this is, in this case, it would be the master branch. And in underneath, in between the equal sign and the greater than sign, that's the stuff you had from the other branch. So if this were like a conflict with the online version, local version, this is your local stuff. This is your online stuff that you just pulled. And so I'm going to have to choose which one, like which is correct by removing all these weird signs. So let's say like, which one do I want? So let's say I'm going to go like in the middle. So I'm going to go like 500. So B is actually 500 because it's averaged out. So I'm going to save. And then after saving, so notice how you fix this, right? You fix it, but it's not going to show up here unless you actually commit it and push it again. So now you have to go git add and nums.py. Sorry, remember to do git status just in case to you guys. And notice how git status, it'll tell you unmerged paths, and it'll also tell you that nums.py hasn't been added yet. So this is why you do git add file name, right? Because if you didn't do it, it wouldn't know that nums.py has changed it. So notice how that is red at the moment. So I'm gonna go git add nums.py. Cool. Git commit, and let's say like changed it to b equals 500, or you can write like fix a conflict or something. Git commit -m, yep. And then let's go git push origin, whoops. Remember to type the whole thing just in case. So that's git push origin master, meaning to the remote, to the master branch. Notice here, this is, which one is this? My master branch. Okay, so I'm on my branch master, And this is my code at the moment. I'll put it side by side so you guys can see. Let me know if you guys can't see. Okay, so I'm gonna get push origin master. Cool, blah, blah, compressing objects, writing objects. And it tells me it's done. I've done it to remember my GitHub repository URL. This is my commit ID once again. I've said that so many times, I'm sure you guys remember now. And this is master to master branch. So if I refresh now, remember it's 1,000, now it's 500. So now I've fixed the conflict and I've successfully resolved everything and pushed it onto online version. So now anyone who pulls this is going to get this version. And ideally in the real world, when you fix conflicts, it would be the working code and it would have both of your code together. It's just like you guys got rid of some random stuff that you didn't realize would conflict. So moving on, let me know if I need to pause, guys. Cool. So this is a 5-minute break. And yeah, like 5-minute break, come back at 7:25 p.m. so you guys can have like a toilet break or something. I'm gonna play a song. I don't think many people added it. Oh look, someone added Joji. Okay. Yep, cool. I'm gonna play a song. Whoever chose that song, just message me after and I'll send you stuff. But 5 minutes and we'll be back. Also, can you guys tell me if the song works?
Is it playing right now?
Yeah, nothing.
Yeah.
Oh man,
Yeah.
why is it?
The sound of awkwardness.
No. This is what I was trying to avoid.
And the caption says avoid awkward Zoom sounds.
Yeah. That was the point of this playlist, but now it's not working. Okay, wait, I need to.
Someone says enable computer audio on Zoom.
Yeah, I did. Wait a sec. Okay. Oh, that's my Google Slide stuff. Well, I'm listening to music, so it's not awkward for me at the moment. Video settings, audio. I thought that automatically came up when you shared your screen. Yeah, well, guys, this is playing Midsummer Madness. Just imagine it.
Play your favorite songs.
I put Crying Over You and Porter, and that was it. On Jack Garrett. Actually, yeah, I can't see who added it, dude. What?
Is it a collab playlist? Oh, it
Yeah,
is.
it's a collab playlist. Add to it. I'm gonna Google where that option is. Oh yeah, select speaker, same as system. Oh man, I don't know if that's a good idea because my thing has been like stuffing up recently. Can you guys hear it now?
Nope.
Well, that was speaker, same as system. Let me Google. How to enable. Yeah, just to make things less awkward, you guys can just watch me Google. Open your Zoom meeting and show you're logged in as host. Oh, okay, I'm gonna stop share and then try it. Okay, I think this will work.
Are you playing or?
Tech fail.
Wait, can you guys hear me at the moment?
Nope.
Nope.
We can hear you, but not the music.
Oh, okay, cool. The music's here.
What? There's no music.
Would not hear that.
I literally clicked share computer audio. Okay, wait, can you hear me though? You can, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh my god, you
Okay.
can see what I was listening to. 29.
I think you have to share your screen to Spotify. Yeah, I think you have to share the Spotify screen, like literally just share.
Oh, wait, okay,
Probably.
so, okay, well, that was the break, guys. Good break.
But
All right, don't worry. Next workshop, we will have this working. But who put in Midsummer Madness? Just can you Zoom chat us so I can like potentially send you something? Thanks. Yeah. Anyway, I clicked share computer audio, but it didn't work. I don't know. Okay, what do you guys see on my screen at the moment? Like my half screen of like the GitHub and the Visual Studio Code.
Yep.
Okay, cool. Thank you. I need to go back to my slides. Yay, great break with music. Okay. Okay, so going back to this, so where were we, guys? You have now like gone past pretty much the stuff that you need to know to pretty much go into industry and be able to be productive, like be able to set stuff up on the first day and pretty much collaborate with your teammates. So all that stuff you did before, git clone, git add, git commit, git push, good to know because you're doing, like if you're doing stuff by yourself, assignments, projects, whatever, working with others and the stuff that you do use in industry, git pull, merge conflicts, and you're using git merge with that. So now we're gonna go through git log, git reset, and we're going to have a quick quiz to make it more interactive, and then we're going to have pull requests afterwards, which is the stuff that you probably, well, I started learning pull requests in industry, and I think that if you have some exposure to how it works beforehand, it'll be helpful. Cool. So first off, git log. All right, where's my stuff? Okay, so git log basically, remember I kept going on about commit ID. So git log shows a history of the commits and messages. So when I type git log, you're gonna see all this stuff and you're gonna see, this is the commits that you made with all the messages and all the details. So commit, and then commit ID, author, you can see my name, you can see the email that I used, the date, and then you can see the message that I added. And then everything that you've done is just going to show up when you do git log. So it's basically like your, so remember I showed you guys this thing where you could go to your commit history. That's practically the exact same thing. It just shows everything that you've done. And the reason why it's important is because afterwards, if you need to go back to a certain version or you just need to find a certain version, you can always just know which one you need, because every time you add a message, remember I was telling you guys to make a meaningful message in your commit messages, like when you do git commit -m message, put in a meaningful message, because then that's how you're going to recognize what you did when you were doing that push. Cool. So, okay, so this is the part where you can go back to different versions. So git reset is when you make a change and you committed it, but then you realize that, oh, like maybe I shouldn't have committed it because that was actually wrong, or I don't need that anymore. So there is a specific way to be able to go back to a previous commit and undo something. Like if you want to think of it that way, you're pretty much undoing something. But this is only when you've committed it, right? So it's basically you being able to roll back to an older version. And I just want to say anything that is to do with going back to previous versions or anything that's kind of messing with your history, you want to be careful with that. So before you do any of these commands, I implore you that you just do a quick Google and make sure that you're typing the right thing, because if you do the wrong thing, it's going to be very hard to fix. So first off, git reset -- hard commit reverts your code back to a previous commit. And git reset -- hard origin master reverts your code back to the remote repository version. So let's say you did something, you committed it, and then you just like realize, oh dude, you just can't be bothered dealing with it anymore and you want to reset it back to the original version that was on the online server on GitHub. You literally do it by typing origin master. Otherwise, you can go back to a specific commit by putting the commit ID in where this commit like thing is. So let's say I added a line and then I removed a line, and then I git reset -- hard, whoops, sorry, 2234. So I removed a line. I realized I shouldn't have removed that line, but I already committed it. So now I can reset it by just using that command, putting the commit ID. So 2234 is the commit ID. And yeah, after putting it back into the commit ID, after resetting it to that commit ID, notice how like the thing that I did afterwards where I removed the line is gone. So my latest version now is actually this one. So I pretty much didn't do the wrong thing that I did wrong before. I went back to an older version. And remember, if you don't know the commit hash, so if you don't know this specific sequence that you need to go back to it, use git log. So that's why I showed you guys git log first. So if you do git log, you see everything, choose the one that you need, the right version that you need to go back to. Yep, cool, that's done. All right, so let's try this now. Where is my VS Code? Cool. So let's say I'm just gonna do this like on my new feature branch. Oh, I'll do it here. Okay, yeah, I'll do it here. So let's say I do this. Let's say I print this, like I don't need this code. So this is my mistake that I'm gonna do, right? Remember every time you do something beforehand, do git status. Also, like just to show you, like you can see everything that you're doing. This hasn't been added yet. Git branch, just to check what branch you're on. So at the moment I'm on master. Also, you can see on VS Code I'm on master. And let's say I do git add nums_pi. Remember git add and git commit, right? So I'm gonna git add this. Let me git commit this too. So let's just make it clear that I made a mistake here. Cool. And then I committed it and I realized this was a mistake. Like I didn't want to actually do this and I want to go back to a previous version. So now if I want to go to a previous version, remember what I said about git log? Like obviously this is here, right? But sometimes you don't just have that in front of your face. So I'm going to go git log. And now I see all the commits that I've made for this repository. And notice how this is the latest commit I've made. And you can see the commit ID. And when I did it like what, like a minute ago. And you can see that the message I said was I made a mistake here. And then like before that, you can see I changed that. Remember I was doing the merge conflict stuff. So I changed it to b = 500, changed it to b = 1000. So once again, this is an example of why your messages have to be meaningful, because otherwise I would have had no idea which one I need to go to. So I don't want this commit anymore. I want to go back to the older version, which is this one. So this is the right one. So grab the commit ID, which like just double click it and copy and paste it. So I'm copying it and scroll back down. How do I quit this? Okay, there we go. And then I'm going to do the command. So remember the command, it's here. Git reset -- hard and then the commit. So git reset -- hard. Okay, you can totally see that I've done all this before. So git reset -- hard, that's the commit ID that's referring to before I added this like line that I don't want. Cool. So notice how like it's gone now. So I've gone back to this version. And if you guys wanted like a visualization, I don't really think I have time to draw it out. Like I was going to annotate, but basically like notice how that version didn't work anymore. So technically like in Git, when you talk about the tip of your branch, like the head, your head has gone back to this specific version. And so there's nothing pointing at this latest mistake that you did here anymore. It's your head is at this point. So now remember after you like resolve things, like even after merge conflict, you had to add and commit and push again. So this is the same thing. I'm going to have to add, commit and push again. So let's just do that for the sake of it. So git add. I don't know if it's going to add anything because I don't really have any. I didn't change anything, right? Let's see git status. Yeah, okay. So it just says it's up to date. Let's try git commit and see what happens. Added, like removed a mistake. Okay, I think it's fine. I actually forgot what I did, but I added the line. Okay, yeah, cool. So I committed it, and then let's just like push it again. I don't think it'll really change anything. Yep, cool. Everything up to date. So notice how I got rid of my latest mistake. So like I pretty much didn't change my code anyway because I'm back at my previous version. So me pushing that was pushing like nothing because I added nothing and everything's up to date at the moment. Whoops. Cool. Awesome. And now we're just going to go to a quick quiz. Nick, do you want me to open it or do you want to, you can't share your screen, can you?
You can open it. Yeah, share screen.
Okay. Let me grab it on another thing. Okay, so, sorry guys, give me 2 seconds. Awesome. So guys, I'm going to start it. I don't know if you need to get out of it, Nick. So I'm going to present. Can you guys see my screen? Can you see like waiting for players?
Yes.
Cool. Thank you. So go to www.menti.com and type in the code 130513 and I'm seeing people join. Guys, this is so much better than Kahoot. Like you get to see like avatars. Cool. I see 8 people join, 9 people join. How many people are in this call at the moment? Can anyone tell me?
29.
Okay. I'll just wait for like 20 to join maybe. Cool. I want to like send a prize to whoever wins this, but I forgot to tell you guys, you probably should put a real name because I don't know what you guys put as your names now. Okay, almost at 20. Cool, 17. Is this the last human that we have? Okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, 18. Okay, actually, maybe we can hit 20. Who's gonna join? Okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, someone left, whatever. So, where does it start? I'm gonna start quiz. Cool. Answer faster to get more points. And this is just like a refresher on what we just did. Remember git add, git commit, git push, guys. So you have like 15 seconds to answer. Oh, I should have put it shorter. Oh no. Cool. 12 people done. Awesome. Okay, cool. Yeah, so remember git push is the final one that actually puts your changes onto GitHub in the online server. Good job. Dude, I'm not, okay. Someone wrote April's a boomer. Did I expect that? Okay, Zutara's winning. All right, next question. I would add music to this, sorry guys, but it was away. How do you check the state of your local commit? Your local Git repository since your last commit? Right, I forgot to go through your command too. Oops. I'll talk to you guys after this. All right, cool. Git status, awesome. Good job, guys. Git diff is basically you can see what you've what new lines and what changes you've basically made compared to your old version. So if you guys want to check that out, you can just type in git diff after writing like a line, and then you'll be able to see it. Okay. Hey, this is pretty easy. Okay. Wait, I don't. Who's winning? Okay, Zatara's still winning. Cool. All right, next one. I think there's 5 questions. So let's go to this one. Whoops. Oh my God, I actually skipped it. Okay. What is the correct commit syntax for changes with the message? You have 10 seconds left. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. Okay. Right, guys. So remember git commit -am is the one where you add and commit at the same time. Git commit hello world wouldn't work because you don't actually have the -m, and git commit -a doesn't have the m either. So this is the only one that would work. And if you want to do it separately, it's git add and then git commit. Good job. Let me go to the next leaderboard. Oh, Angus, are you KH Lee? I mean KHL.
I think I'm getting owned by.
Oh,
Wow, mate. What? What is this?
Okay, Nix is winning. Cool, good job. April's boomer is gone now.
All right, Nick, your team leader with HP now.
All right. I don't know. Is this like the 4th or 5th question? How do I move to another branch? Easy, right? Maybe. Oh wait, actually, this isn't that easy. Never mind. So is it git branch, feature branch, or git checkout feature branch? 5 seconds. Okay, awesome. Good job, guys. So remember, git branch is to show all your branches. Git branch feature branch is to literally make the feature branch. To switch to another branch, you just do git checkout. So think of it just like checking out something. I don't know. Leaderboard. All right. Is it next still? Nice. Good job, Nix. I don't know who you are, but if you can Zoom message us and like screenshot this or something, we can send stuff to you and you're just gonna send us your details afterwards. Good job, guys. And the workshop's not done yet. It's just like you've gone through the very like important bits that you need to know. So I know none of you guys fill in our forms, like our feedback forms. So if you go have feedback, just type it in right now. I'll just leave it on and I'm gonna go back to the slides. So anything is good, like if you hated it or liked it, just type it there. Can you guys see my slide screen?
Yep.
Okay, cool. Thanks, Angus. The only person who responds.
My mic is muted.
Thanks, Nick. Okay, last thing. Oh my gosh, we have 4 minutes. Might go a bit over, but I swear this is worth your time because this is literally what you do in industry. I'll go through it very quickly. So pull requests. Pull requests are basically, so if you hear about like open source contributions and you hear about putting your like adding your code and helping people do their projects, this is basically it. So it's submitting contributions to an open project. The project is upstream of your fork. So in this diagram, I have to go through it with you. I'm really sorry, but basically this is the theory. So you had your, remember you had that like Monash coding repository that we forked from? So that's the original version, right? You forked from it and then that became your origin. The origin is your own remote repository that you have in your profile, which is just a copy of what we had in the organization one. And then to get it onto your local version, onto your local computer, you just cloned it. You wanted to put it back onto GitHub, you pushed it. But if you ever want to, so your copy of your repository is still actually connected to the Monash coding one, the original one that you forked from. It's called the upstream. And what happens is if you want to put code and you want to work on a feature, you fork it to have your own copy. In your own copy, you make your changes, and then afterwards you make a pull request to actually make it so that you're asking the person who is like managing the open source repository that, hey, this is a feature that I made and can you put it into your code and add it in? So changes you make in your own repository does not affect the upstream, but you can add it in by doing a pull request, okay? So if that didn't make sense, I'm gonna have 2 minutes to show you guys. So just a disclaimer, this is from Faisha. Faisha's like a good friend from Diverse IT last year. She also did a workshop on Git and she did like a really good summary of this and I basically just took it. So if you guys want to check it out, just go to this link here. I'll probably chuck it into Zoom or Nick can chuck it into Zoom. I'm sorry, Nick. I don't know if you actually got the slides open. Okay, so basically what you have to do is I'm going to go to here. Maybe I should do it side by side so you guys can have, I don't know if that's gonna work. Okay, yeah, it's okay. You guys can't read it, but I'll just read it to you. So let's go change something. So let's go to the README and let's say we can start adding our names here. Like I'm gonna add April Chi. and I want to put this into the original version. And what I mean by original version is I want to be able to see this in, where's my GitHub repository? I don't know if it closed. Oh no, okay. How much time do I have? Like a minute. Okay, basically if you want to stay to, I'm just going to skip ahead. If you want to stay and learn this, then stay for like 5 minutes. Otherwise, I'm going to quickly go through like what we have and then I'll go back to this, all right? So we can like wrap up properly. So after all of this, we have the command line. Like we learned everything through the command line. We actually did stuff that's under the hood. So after doing all this, now if you use a graphical interface, user interface, like for example, source tree, Git Kraken, the stuff that I showed you that will show you all the branches, what everyone else is doing, it'll be so much easier. Like you actually know what's going on and you don't even have to type the commands anymore. You just have to click around and then that's it. So if you want to get this stuff, source tree, I think Nick linked it in the Zoom chat. Git Kraken was part of GitHub Student Developer Pack. I don't actually know if it is anymore, but just check it out there and you can probably see what it has to offer. Also, you can also do it in VS Code. So here, I go to my VS Code, I go to here, like literally everything that I did in the command line, I can do here. So if I click this, I add it, I type in my, this is my commit, I type in my message, and notice how like I can literally pull, push, like check out. You can do everything you need to do in VS Code too. It's just you probably need some help, which you would go get some plugins. So the plugins you would go to here, it's called extensions. You would type in like git blame or something. Git blame lets you see who wrote the code. Git lens lets you see, yeah, it basically gives you the ability to see like what everyone else is doing and have annotations and stuff. So all of that is here. And if you need more information, just go to this link here. I'll send you guys the slides after if you said yes to receiving resources. Remember to type in, the thing is still open, please give us your feedback. And also, if you have any questions, basically email us here. We'll be checking that frequently. You can follow us on our social media, so Facebook, Insta. Insta is a good one, and Facebook, because the marketing team makes some really good graphics, and the graphics basically kind of condense this into a very simplified version. So it has tips, advice, and quizzes, and it's just cool. That's our YouTube channel that will be posting this, like this is being recorded. If it works, we'll post it onto our YouTube channel. And that's our GitHub if you ever need to go back to it, or if in the future we do have open source projects, you can contribute to it. And just with upcoming events, the next workshop is DevOps and Pipelines with MYOB. So if you guys are into like testing or just learning how it works in industry in terms of like the different, I don't actually know much about DevOps, but like there's different stages and stuff you have to go to before it actually gets put into production. And so that's with MYOB. It's on the 21st of May. Anna and JC run a weekly web dev workshop, and come along, and it's just like a tutorial but also works at the same time, and it's collaborative. And also HTML and CSS I think is the most neglected thing in industry, just because a lot of people think it's easy, right? But when you learn it, it's actually not that simple. Also we have ongoing resume reviews, behavioral interview workshops, mock interviews, code reviews with Angus, and also in the future we're going to have a product management workshop, I think in week 11 with Ria, so just like our social media for that. Also useful resources, once again I'll send these to you afterwards, but a lot of it is just like feature stuff, GitHub Student Developer Pack, and also the graphics that the marketing team made. Okay, so thank you for listening to that. So if you guys are still here, it means that you want to learn about pull requests. So I'm going to go back to my, sorry, anyone who doesn't care about this, you can just go. I'm sorry, it's like 7:45. So here, pull requests, I'm going to go to my Visual Studio Code. I'm going to half it so you guys can see. All right, so remember control backtick to open your terminal. And let's say what did I do before? So I added my name, right? And let's say like I want to add this to the original GitHub repository. So what I have to first do is git remote. Okay, so I kind of like already typed it here. I'll just explain it. So it's basically adding like an upstream remote. So you link the original repository to your own one. So remember we forked it Let me open a new window to show you guys. Google Chrome. Where is it? Okay, cool. So remember we forked the original version and it's not actually linked to our current version yet. It's just that like this is, remember it's called the upstream, and just make sure that our copy of the repository is up to date with the original repository. So git remote is the remote version, add, remember like the commands add, commit, push, like same thing, but basically just more writing. And then upstream is linking it to your, to the Monash coding one that you forked from. So I'm gonna go remote add upstream, cool, so that's added. And then remember to always pull before push. That's like the exact same thing here. You always do that regardless of whatever you're trying to accomplish. So I'm gonna git pull upstream master. What that means is I am pulling from the upstream. So upstream is the original copy of like the repository that you forked from. I'm just trying to get open here, sorry guys. So Monash coding. Yeah, so this is your thingo. Yep, so maclearn git. Remember, this is the original one that you forked from. This is your upstream. So now I'm going to pull from it. Nothing should have changed because I didn't actually touch it. So, but either way, pull from it because in industry, you don't know what happens, right? Cool. So already up to date. And then now I go git checkout B. So what I'm doing here is make a new feature branch. And you want to be able to like, so what we're doing here is we have a one feature, one branch thing. So in this case, your name here, I want to be able to push this into it. So I'm going to go git checkout -B, new feature. Let's see. Let's do another one. Git checkout -B, name feature. Cool. So now I'm on my name feature branch, and notice how like I've added my name here, and this is what I'm trying to put into the original repository that is this upstream one. And then now I can now commit my changes. So once again, after a git add, you want to do a git commit message. Let's say like added my name, April. Cool, awesome. Changes not staged for commit, blah. And, oh, did I add it? Awesome, okay. And then git push u origin new feature. Sorry guys, this is rushed, but if you don't understand anything, just like reach out to me after and I'll be able to help out. Cool, so push changes to origin remote. Yep, so now I push and this is upstream. So it's linking it to the upstream repository, which is the Monash coding one, origin, and then name feature. And then it should update your forked repository with the changes. So let me go to that. Yep, cool. So it says it's set up to track the remote branch name feature from origin. Fancy way of saying that, the normal way of saying that is now your name feature branch that you just made, this change, it's linked to your upstream. So it's linked to this. So let me go to my thing. Where's my, go back to your normal, your repository, your copy of it that you forked. Where's my branch? Name feature. Cool. So like, let's say I did this and I can make a new pull request now. So notice how I added, whoops, where's my name? What is it there? Let me go back to Monash coding. Maclearn git. And here, let's do a new pull request. And where is it? Okay, well, basically, if I had the time to show you guys, you would be able to make a new pull request. I'll just show it here quickly. And then like, if you have questions, just ask me. So let's say like I want to put my name feature here. I'll put a new pull request. And then you would basically just like make a new one there. Whoops. And you would choose like whichever one you have. and you would grab the specific branch, like name feature. So this is my own one, right? And then you can see that I can merge it into the Mac Learn Git one. So this is my repository. This is the branch that I'm doing. I'm going to create a pull request for it, and it's going to go into the main one. So let's go like name feature, added my name or whatever. Whatever you did, just write it there. You can usually add an assignee. So like, for example, sometimes you need approval. So let's say like Angus needs to check that this is correct. And he's going to go through it and he's going to like check it. Whoops, sorry. Assignee is the person who's doing it. So that should be me. So it's both of us. Cool. And then you just click create pull request. So make sure here, like I can see all the stuff that you guys made, right? Make sure you choose the right branch that you want to like put into it, and then just basically create pull request. And this is like a very, very rough gist of it. Sorry guys, I'll probably make like a part 2 if you guys want to know it too. So now I go here and I see pull requests and I can see like this thing that I opened. And then like the person here, like say Angus or something, he's maintaining this Monash coding repository. He would check it and then he would be like, okay, this code is great, let's merge it in. So then he would just go like this, and then he would merge the pull request. And then afterwards it would go into the repository. So then you would start seeing it, my commits actually pushed into this. Okay. So I'm sorry for that really rushed explanation. I've gone very over time, but if you have any questions, just basically message us on coding@monashclubs.org. So I'll show you guys that again. Oops. Cool. So email us there, message us anywhere else, and I'll send you guys an email afterwards with all the stuff and the links. Okay, the chat is pinging. What's happening? Cool. Yeah, so that's the end of the workshop. Thanks for sticking with me for so long, guys. And I'm sorry I went over time. I'll probably cut down on the quiz next time. But basically, these are all the links, and I hope you guys start using these on your assignments. So I think it seems weird at first, but the more you practice it and the more you start putting stuff onto GitHub, you start actually remembering the commands. And then you'll also be able to, if anything goes wrong with your assignments, for example, your laptop basically died, then you still have the stuff on GitHub. There's many benefits to it. You just have to start using it now.